Hi you guys. So first up today, I'm working with new lighting. So if it looks too bright, if it looks too like one color, another color, I'm trying my best. I upgraded my lighting, so I hope that everything is clearer and brighter and easier for you guys to see. Also, it helps make my walls look better. I rent, we're not supposed to paint, and they painted all the walls in this house and all the trim. They're the same color. This horrible yellow beige. It's not even like beige, it's like a off-white, but it's very, very yellow. And it drives me crazy because it makes everything else in my room look yellow. So we're trying to fix that. But anyway, I have my eyes done, I have my eyebrows done. My face, there's nothing on it. And that's because we are trying out a new foundation today. Let me put on my little kitty ears to hold my hair back. So what we are trying today is the Maybelline SuperStay Multi-Use Foundation Stick. So stick foundations are fairly new. Of course, you've got the Hourglass one, which is considered the holy grail, and it's really, really good. And I have tried, and I really do like the Hourglass one a lot, but that's expensive. It's really expensive. It's like 40 something for 0.25 ounces. This is 0.25 ounces. That one's 40, this one's like $11.99, I think. Yeah, it was right around $11, $12. So huge, huge price difference for the exact same volume. So looking at this, I have not opened this yet. I have not played with it. I do love Maybelline. Their foundations tend to be some of my absolute favorites from the drugstore. Like, I have a whole bunch of their foundations, and I usually try them when they come out with new ones. Sorry, I was fighting with my tweezers to get this open. Now, I am slightly hesitant about this. This is their blending stick. It kind of looks like a much, much rougher beauty blender. Not like rough like feeling wise, but texture wise, it's very, very bumpy. Obviously it's just glued in here, so you really can't like wet this or anything, and it feels kind of odd on your skin, so I'm not sure how this will work. Now I am going to try blending out one side of the foundation with this and the other side with my Real Techniques blending sponge, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is kind of odd, and again, you can't wash it, so I'm not a huge fan of like built-in sponges. I really wish drugstore companies kind of knock off the whole built-in sponge thing. It's really not a pro for buying anything. Like, I don't look at that and go, oh yeah, that has a built-in sponge, I'm going to buy it. No, never. All right, but here is the foundation itself. It's actually very nice packaging. I like the white and silver. And here's how much you get. You look at this and think, wow, that's not a lot. And it isn't, but it does end up being the same volume you get weight-wise as the Hourglass foundation. So I got the shade 120 Natural Ivory, which is the shade that I get everything Maybelline. So I am going to swatch this. Sometimes it can vary though, it's weird. Sometimes it's more yellow, sometimes it's more neutral. And this one actually looks very, very neutral. Anyway, it glided onto my hand very gently, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and just dot this all over my face, and then we'll blend one side with the included little blender thingy, and the other side with this. So we'll do my right side. Yeah, this is my right side. Me, left, right, not so good. This side of my face with this one, and then the left side with the Real Techniques sponge. Okay, so far this glides on like beautifully. There's no pulling, no dragging. It's a very soft formula, which is nice. I have no primer on, no moisturizer, nothing. This is just on skin that was cleaned a couple hours ago. So I went kind of heavy. And just because that's what I do when I'm trying out a new foundation. And on this side, let's use this little blender thingy. Okay, this is going to take me 3 years. Not a fan. Switching to the Beauty Blender for my whole face. This version of Classic Ivory is more yellow tinted. Again, sometimes they're yellow, sometimes they're pink. It's not a very consistent formulation, I've noticed, between the different Maybelline foundations. They give the foundations the same names, but the color of the named foundations aren't the same. They aren't consistent. Okay, this is blending in okay with the beauty sponge. I'm getting decent coverage so far. I noticed, of course, on the side that I started with their blender, I got fuller coverage, but of course that's a dry sponge versus a damp sponge, so that's to be expected. Now I am going to actually be wearing this foundation all day. It's actually, what time is it? It is 1:02 right now as I'm putting this on. I meant to get this filmed earlier in the day, but you know, life, basically. It's looking okay so far. It is a little clingy where I have some dry patches, but where my skin is smooth, it's going on really nicely. It looks like it's filling in my pores. I would say the coverage is definitely medium. It's not, it says full coverage. This is more medium. I'm gonna see if I can build it up in a few areas. But right now this is definitely screaming medium, not full coverage to me. Now, I will say the convenience of a stick foundation is very nice. This is not the easiest to apply though. It definitely wants to go on a bit patchy. I do have it fully on though, definitely not full coverage. Even where I layered it, we're not getting full coverage. So that's pretty common though. So I'm going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape and just cover up these under eye circles. I'm keeping this very close to my under eyes so it doesn't disturb the foundation too much. All right, now I'm going to go in and set the foundation. I'm using my IT Cosmetics Bye Pores Pressed. I'm just going to set like I usually do underneath my eyes. And where my foundation tends to get funky and creasy and crepey and fall off my face, which is typically around my nose. Now the foundation is looking pretty rough on my nose right now, but my nose is also looking rough right now just from breakouts, so I can't entirely blame the foundation. I'm just powdering where I normally do, and I'm using this powder because I know it works really well and I'm not going to have an issue with it. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup real quick. I'm just going to add a little bit of blush. I'm using Tarte Fearless. I'm totally skipping bronzer today for 2 reasons. One, I don't want to add too much on top of the foundation and kind of have it disappear, because by the time you have blush, highlight, and full face bronzer on, you can barely see the foundation anyway. Also, I'm going to be in the house all day and I don't feel like it. So I am using my Smashbox Pearl Highlighting Palette, just the lightest shade. And just popping a tiny bit of highlight on. because highlight I do care about. I'm going to finish up my eyes and my lips off camera, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, eyes and lips done. And just in case you're curious, on my eyes I have the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, and on my lips I have the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit in the shade Rebel Rose. This is one of my favorites. Alright, now I am going to do one thing. It is like 89 degrees out right now. It is hot as heck, and it's about to rain, and it's humid. And basically, if I've gone out without a setting spray on my face, no matter what foundation I'm using, it's melting off my face. So I am going to set this with my Urban Decay All-Nighter. There we go. I'm going to zoom you in real quick so you can see the foundation up close. Hello, that's closer. Alright, as you can see, it's doing really, really well. So far, it filled in my pores like beautifully. You can still see my texture, which is a good thing. It looks good on my chin. My nose looks really, really rough. But that's my nose because I have a bunch of healing acne breakouts on my nose right now. So that is not the foundation's fault. And then my forehead looks good. It looks still just a tiny bit patchy, I think, but other than that, it looks really good. Like, I like the coverage, the color looks good. Alright, so everything looks pretty good. So I am just going to go about my day, and then I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Hey you guys, I'm back. It's now, let's see, it is 8:30 at night. It's been a long day. I was planning on filming this a little bit later, but honestly, I'm exhausted. I'm just very, very tired. So I'm going to bed early tonight, or at least I'm quitting doing anything that involves being up, about thinking, and I've got to get my contacts out and this makeup off because my allergies are killing me. I've already like changed into jammies. I am just so ready to be done. But anyway, while we're here, my foundation, I've worn this for the past 7.5 hours. It's not as long a test as I usually like to give my foundations, but 7.5 hours, if your foundation lasts that long without going weird, it's probably going to last, 10, 12 hours fairly easily. So let's zoom on in and I can show you guys what I think. All right, so we are nice and up close. And the first thing I do have to say is, wow, is this foundation matte. I have a little bit of a glow, mostly from my highlight, and also I have fairly oily skin, but honestly, the fact that, I'm not, dripping with oil right now is really impressive. This has a very matte look to it. I would say, unless you have incredibly oily skin, you're going to have to wear this for, 10 hours to get a good glow from it, if you kind of letting the oils come through and your skin to glow. So it's definitely matte. It's definitely medium coverage. You can see a little bit has worn off around my chin. You can definitely see my breakouts. It's worn off around my mouth a little bit from eating because I had a giant dinner and then an ice cream sandwich and then sherbet, and we're not going to talk about it. And then a little bit wore off of my nose because, again, allergy season, blowing my nose, thus the red eyes as well. I've also been outside a lot today, so grass pollen is not good for me at all. I'm highly, highly allergic to it, and our levels of grass pollen have been incredibly high lately, so yeah. Anyway, it's wearing well on my forehead. I have noticed that has emphasized the expression lines on my forehead quite a bit. Any matte foundation will do that with my forehead. So if you tend to have deeper expression lines on your forehead, then you might want to go with more of a glowy foundation, because I've noticed I don't have this issue with glowy foundations and my skin stays more moisturized during the day Whereas with this, a matte, it is more visible. But honestly, my cheeks still look really, really good. It hasn't broken apart. It hasn't separated. It hasn't shifted a whole lot. The only areas where it's gone from are like my mouth and nose, where tissues, obviously. My blush is pretty much gone. My highlight's still there a little bit. But yeah, I would say overall, this foundation is really, really good. Is it my favorite? No, it's not my favorite foundation like ever. Do I think it's really good for a stick foundation? Yes. Is it really good for a matte foundation? Yes. I haven't been wearing a lot of matte foundations lately. Most of what I've been wearing is glowy, so it's weird seeing my skin like this flat, but it definitely goes on very well. I do like it. The shade is good, especially once it like settled down a bit. This little sponge thingy is kind of useless. But other than that, I really like this foundation. I don't think it's anything I would go out of my way to look for. It's not like holy grail status, but it's still a really good, solid foundation. It's very, very similar in finish to their SuperStay Full Coverage. Like, the finish on these is almost identical. So I would say if you really like this foundation, if you've tried the SuperStay Full Coverage and you like it, but you want something that's either faster to put on in a stick formula, or you want something that you can travel with, because this is in plastic, it's a solid product, it's not in glass, it's not liquid, or something that would be easy to put on in the car, on a plane, traveling, things like that, then I would definitely recommend giving this a shot. Now, if you find this too heavy and too matte for you, then this is almost identical. Really, the only difference between these two is this is in stick form and this is in pump form. In general, I'm fairly pleased with this. It definitely isn't going in the rejects bin. I definitely will use this again. I'll probably use this one more around winter time, because that's when I tend to go for more of a matte skin look. I will say that this time of year, unless I'm going to be outdoors like all day, I definitely like more of a glowy finish. But yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of this. I think it's good. So I hope that you guys found this review helpful. I know it's not super easy when I just say, it's good, I like it, it's okay, not and I hate it, or it's my absolute favorite thing ever. But I'm definitely kind of in between on this product. I definitely do like it though. I would probably put this, out of all the foundations I have, probably in my like third or fourth favorite. So that's pretty high rankings. All right, guys, I hope you found this review helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hi, I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also keep up with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. I am pretty much everywhere, and all the links for those are down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.